Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week we catch up with world and Olympic champion, as well as an icon of Indonesian badminton, Chandra Wijaya. And we're in Bulgaria to report on its national training centre and how it's shaping the sport in the country. We begin in Jakarta. With a population of more than 10 million, it's the capital of the biggest nation in Southeast Asia, Indonesia. The city boasts a proud history of badminton excellence. In a previous edition of the show, we reported on the achievements of one of the pioneers of the doubles format in the country, Christian Hadinata. His success has had a direct impact on the popularity in this category and its glorious legacy. Currently, Indonesia has elite players in the men's doubles, including All England champions and newly crowned Asian Games gold medalists Muhammad Ahsan and Hendra Setiawan, and three-time All England winners Tontowi Ahmad and Liliana Natsir in the mixed. Back in the late 90s and 2000s, it was Chandra Wijaya who ruled the world and Olympic arenas.
Ya, itu pun saya pada waktu itu.
At that time, I was just 21 years of age. To be honest, I didn't think that at that opportunity, I was able to be a world champion at such a young age. I had my own goals. Indeed, my seniors did it that early as well, but I felt it happened too fast for my expectations.
Ukuran saya iya, target saya iya.
Badminton Unlimited caught up with the 39-year-old at the recently concluded 6th Yonex Sunrise Doubles Tournament, where he was the event organizer as well as one of the players in the open category. Chandra's love for the sport began in Cirebon, a province of West Java. His formative years were spent honing his badminton skills at his father's club, called Rajawali, before taking the big step to the capital as a 12-year-old.
Waktu pertama kali saya main, tentunya ya.
The first time that I played when I was young, I was competing in the various age categories within the areas of my hometown in Cirebon. After that, I decided to move on to Jakarta to experience and compete in the bigger and higher quality tournaments it had there.
Tinggi lagi levelnya daripada dulu di daerah.
At the big city clubs, Chandra was competing in the singles until an illness altered his badminton destiny. He was 15 when he was struck down by hepatitis, an illness that left him unable to play. During his recovery, he made the decision to follow his real passion, the doubles. It was a choice that would change his career.
Saya pernah rest 3 bulan dan itu.
I was not able to train or play badminton for close to 3 months. The possibility of me not being able to even play was being discussed by others. My mind was all over the place. But with enough rest and the timely discovery of a vaccination at that time, I found that my body was doing okay all throughout. So I started to train slowly and knew that I can still play. That's when I decided to focus on men's doubles. In my own observations, right down to my very instincts, I knew I was able to flourish as a doubles player.
Saya merasa bahwa saya akan berkembang di ganda putra.
A return to the court signalled a renewed focus and energy. It wasn't long before he caught the eyes of the national selectors in 1993. He staked his claim as the next big thing by winning the national title 2 years later and the Badminton Asia Championships in 1996. An all-round player with an ability to adapt to different partners, Chandra won his first international tournament at the 1997 World Championships with Sigit Budiarto. He was only in his early 20s.
Jadi waktu itu memang.
At that point of time, it was really extraordinary. The pressure and the tension was intense. Yes, we were getting better and better, but there were still the seniors like Ricky, Rexy, as well as Anton and Danny. Eventually, when we got to the final, we defeated Chasun Kit and Yap Kim Hock. It was dramatic.
Sangat dramatis.
The duo went on to clinch the Indonesia and Singapore Open titles in the same year. A strategic decision from the national coaches saw Budiarto replaced by Tony Gunawan in 1999, but it didn't affect Chandra's success. That year, they clinched both the All England Championships and the World Badminton Grand Prix title, the precursor to the current BWF World Superseries finals. The Chiribon native's crowning moment came in 2000 at the Sydney Olympics in Australia, where he won the coveted gold medal.
Memang Olimpik tentunya
The Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the world. Like it or not, whether I can or cannot, I had to win. I knew I just had to win that gold medal.
Saya harus bisa jadi juara.
The Yonex Open Japan in September 2007 was to be Chandra's last title on the elite circuit before he retired from the national team. A proud father of two, he now gives back to the sport by running a badminton academy. Like many legendary players, he is focused on developing the next generation. He hopes to pass on his considerable experience and the characteristics that made him a champion.
Saya memiliki kemauan yang keras.
My desire to be successful and be a champion was so intense that it helped to overcome all my challenges and it helped to reinforce my determination. I was so focused on being a champion to the point that I was willing to accept all the consequences that came with it.
Membuat kita semakin tegar.
Chandra Wijaya is an example of what can be achieved with hard work, sacrifice, and passion. He had them in abundance, and these are the traits that he is hoping to instill in his students. If Indonesia is to continue to make its mark at the very top of the sport, they will need the likes of Chandra Wijaya. It's time for some trivia. We want you to name the player who won their first Grand Prix gold title at this year's Yonex German Open. The answer after the break.
The 25-year-old Jan Jorgensen from Aalborg in North Jutland. Lovely play from Jorgensen. Once again, Denmark have a champion of the men's singles here at the Yonex French Open.
The last person I kissed would be my girlfriend. I had vegetables and beef and some rice, quite boring, but yeah. The last song I listened to would be in the car the way home, and that was The Knife. I think it's called Forest Families. The last thing that made me happy, having a good day yesterday.
And Jan Jorgensen, a third Super Series title, his first ever Premier Super Series title.
We're in Bulgaria after the break to report on the National Training Centre and how it's helping to develop the game. Before the break, we asked you to name the player who won their first Grand Prix gold title at this year's Yonex German Open. The answer is Arvind Bhatt. The 35-year-old veteran claimed his title in the men's singles, overcoming 11th seed Hans Christian Vittinghus 24-22, 19-21, 21-11 in an hour. The win makes him the first ever Indian player to bring home the German Open title. This is Bulgaria, a country of over 7 million people in southeastern Europe. Part of the Balkan states, it's bordered by Romania in the north and Turkey and Greece in the south. We're in its capital, Sofia, to report on the National Badminton Training Centre and its role in developing the sport in the country. The facility was one of 5 global centres set up in 2005 by the Badminton World Federation's predecessors, the IBF, to give nations worldwide an opportunity to develop the sport by offering them coaching and training support.
This training center set up a long time ago, 12 years ago, and it was part of the program of IBF in this time, like a World Training Center in badminton. And since 5 years ago, this training center is a European certified training center in badminton. And this is the natural home in badminton here in Bulgaria. And also the center in Balkans, because it's the only one like this capacity with that kind of coaches and traditions.
The International Standard Training Center has certainly helped boost the sport in Bulgaria and its regional neighbors. It's a focal point for not only the best badminton talent in the region, but has also attracted shuttlers from further afield.
Previous time when it was the IBF Training Center, we developed players from over the 70 countries over the world, even the Africa, the Asia, the Australia, the America, and now by 200 per year, and 100 national players from Bulgarian in different ages, but also we selected from the main centers in Balkans. We have opportunity to select our friends of these countries because this training center also is the home of Balkan Badminton Association.
Bulgaria's sporting success is more associated with wrestling, gymnastics and weightlifting. But badminton has been making progress of late. This has been mainly due to the success of their women players. Petya Nedilcheva was one of the elite players on the circuit not so long ago, ranked 8th in the singles and 3rd in the doubles. The Stoeva sisters, Stephanie and Gabriela, are the rising stars of Europe. Stephanie wrote herself into the Bulgarian history books after winning 2 titles at the European Junior Championships last year. The teenage sensation grabbed gold in the singles event and also won the doubles with her older sister, Gabriela. And at the recent European Team Badminton Championships, the Bulgaria women's side claimed their first ever medal.
In the women, Bulgaria is one of the very good presenting countries in Europe. Even during the month of April in Basel, Switzerland, we are successful to have a bronze medal. It's difficult to reach this type of medals by the teams.
But success has brought its own challenges. Having seen what is achievable internationally, players are now looking outside their borders to help them take the next step.
We decided last year to train in Switzerland with the national team. It's really good training when we practice, and I like it. It's much better than here.
Success on the international stage has given the female shuttlers the ability to engage personal coaches. This is something the men feel they're lacking at the centre, a coach dedicated to their development. And with so many players training abroad, those who remain at the centre feel isolated.
From the women's is more easy because the women's training with men's. This is really good from them. We try to be in one of the other countries to training there because there they have better players.
The association is looking at the development of their youth. Bulgaria has an elaborate and successful junior training program across the country. The Bulgarian Badminton Federation has not only established the development schemes at their badminton centres, but also in schools and sports clubs. They've also begun to invite young players to their centre as a way of giving their shuttlers more competition.
Our way to develop is to connect with the Asian countries from ASEAN and to put juniors from the Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore and Vietnam here. Also our girls and boys to go there and to make, the very nice collaboration between them to have good results.
Bulgaria Badminton understands they still have a long way to go before they can consistently compete with the elite of the sport. But they are determined to meet all the challenges. They have an international level training centre and willing students. If they can sustain their development, those days when their best players leave to further their badminton education will be a thing of the past.
I training in Denmark, I training also in Austria, I training also in Germany, but when I'm here, I feel something different. I feel perfect because I'm here. I'm in Bulgaria.
The Grand Prix circuit made its fourth European pit stop in the calendar as it arrived in Almere, Netherlands last week for the Yonex Dutch Open 2014. Indonesia was well represented on the final day, except for the women's singles, where we begin. It was USA's Bei-Wan Zhang up against Chinese Taipei's Pai Yu-Po. First seed Zhang was looking for her third title on the trot and wasted no time. In the new scoring format being tested out by the BWF, she defeated Pai in 28 minutes, winning 11-9, 11-7, 11-8. The hosts themselves had two pairs in the finals. The mixed doubles pairing of Jorrit de Ruyter and Samantha Barning took on Indonesian Masters winning duo of Ricky Widianto and Puspita Riccidilli. In an entertaining five-setter, the final score eventually read 11-10, 10-11, 9-11, 11-8, 11-1 to the Southeast Asian pair. Ifje Muskens and Selina Peek were the second Dutch pair of the evening as they renewed the Dutch-Indonesian rivalry in the women's doubles, with Shendi Puspa Irawati and Vita Marisa providing the opposition this time. The country's #1 women's pair gave the home crowd something to shout about when they saw off Irawati and Marisa 11-8, 4-11, 11-9, 11-10 for their first major triumph this year. The men's singles saw India's Ajay Jayaram locking horns with 19-year-old Indonesian Ihsan Maulana Mustafa. Having defeated the top seed Rajiv Osif the day before, confidence was high for the 27-year-old Ajay. Despite Mustafa's best efforts, the Indian shuttler was not to be denied his first career Grand Prix triumph, winning it 10-11, 11-6, 11-7, 1-11, 11-9. Fran Kurniawan and Agrippina Prima Ramanto Putra were the final pair from Indonesia when they faced Francis Baptiste Karim and Ronan Labar in the conclusion of the men's doubles. After losing the first game, Karim and Labar recovered to take the next three as they clinched the title in 41 minutes. Final score 5-11, 11-10, 11-10, 11-7. That was the end of another great week of badminton action. Up next is the return of the World Superseries with the Yonex Denmark Open. After the break, we're in Nepal to find out about the national team's progress. This week's Player of the Week is USA's women's singles shuttler, Bei-Wan Zhang. The 24-year-old American won her third BWF major title of the season at the Yonex Dutch Open last week. She had already claimed the Brazil Grand Prix and a Grand Prix gold in the US earlier this year. Currently 17th in the world rankings, Zhang will be hoping that her recent success bodes well as she attempts to grab her first Super Series triumph. Top-class training centres, state-of-the-art facilities. In the modern world of badminton, these are the norm. Every aspect of the athlete is catered for in a bid to produce champions. But this isn't always the case. Away from the powerhouses, things are very different. Badminton Unlimited returned to Kathmandu, Nepal to find out how the badminton national team is doing in the face of the challenges that would have struck down a less resilient nation.
The main thing is the development of the infrastructure. We don't have proper venues to play. First thing, we need places to play our sport. There should be also training programs all year round. It has been difficult for us to be professional badminton players. Even if we were to play only for the clubs, we would not be able to survive with the money we would have made. Many of us have to get support from our family or use our own money to continue playing the sport.
Despite these difficulties, Nepal does have some notable players. One of the country's most successful players was Pashupati Paneru. During his playing days, he claimed bronze medals at the 2004 and 2006 South Asian Games, and he represented Nepal in the mixed doubles category at the 2006 BWF World Championships. In this era, players like Bikash Shrestha are continuing the badminton legacy as Nepal seek to punch above their weight. When we arrived to meet the team, they were undergoing their usual rigorous training.
Normally, we wake up around 6 in the morning. We train from 8 to 11 a.m. or until 12 noon, and then have our lunch. Training will then resume in the evening.
Training is conducted in the hall owned by the National Sports Council. But there lies the problem the national team is facing.
In Nepal, there is only one hall that is of tournament level. The covered hall where we are playing right now is a multi-purpose hall where it is used for different sports. I think each sport should be given separate covered halls. Like our sport, badminton, should be given a separate dedicated hall so that we are not distracted by players from another sport.
Lack of infrastructure is not the only obstacle the players have had to deal with. In a country where badminton has yet to fully develop, financial support is limited. In the past, national team players could not afford to be full-time. This meant they were constantly juggling between team commitments and the needs of their jobs. Agreement between the country's agencies is helping to alleviate some of these problems. Just over half the team now gets some kind of financial assistance.
Financially, actually, we have to give thanks to these three forces: Army, this Nepal Police, Armed Police Force. These forces take our players, yeah, and they give a job, and they are supporting, you know.
The National Sports Council has also stepped in. For the last 2 years, it has been providing funds to the players. But Nepal is still playing catch-up in this fast-growing sport. Every step the team has taken, other countries have taken several more. The lack of international contact, be it in competitions or overseas training camps, has hampered their progress.
In the past, we used to receive training programs from BWF and other organizations, but we don't get those opportunities anymore. Even I got the chance to go to China for 2 months and train there. But for the young and upcoming generation, there are no such initiatives. If the association can't bring coaches from other countries, they should look into starting these programs again, even if it's just to train the players locally.
But there are some positive signs for Nepal badminton. The association is looking to improve the skills of their coaches. The Solidarity coaching course, initiated by the International Olympic Committee, will be held at the end of this year. In the competitive area, there was also some good news. At the recent Asian Games in Incheon, the men's team made it to the quarterfinal stage, where they were eventually defeated by Malaysia. And at next year's South Asian Games, Nepal is looking to improve on the bronze medals their men and women's team won in 2010.
Our goal is first we have to enter the final in SAF game, because India's standards is very high. Now we cannot compete. Yeah. After India, we can, if we do little hard, we can beat all the countries.
Sandwiched between the giants of China and India, Nepal is fighting to emulate its high-ranking badminton neighbours. It faces some major obstacles in its bid to be recognised, but it is making progress. One thing is for sure, if their chances of success are measured in commitment and desire, they are guaranteed to make it. Before we go, let's take a look at what's happening on the international circuit in our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we sit down with former world number 1 and Malaysia double star Koo Kian Kiet about the pressures of being at the top. And we're in the UK to report on Badminton England's brand new National League. See you next week.